They were drinking. Both of the brothers were there. And I said, hey, I got an offer you can't refuse. I said, you guys had a couple cocktails, but would you want to be sober and you want to talk to me? I said, I'm going to give you $50,000 cash every month. All I need from you is your expired chocolate. And they're like, oh, fuck, you can have all the chocolate you want. Fuck, you can have it all. We got pallets of it. I'm like, I'm going to hold you to it. Come Monday after this wedding's over, I'm going to meet you at the Starbucks over there off of Vermont. And I'm going to hold you to this because you said I could have it. He goes, oh, yeah, 50,000, you got it. So I go meet him at Starbucks and I bring 50,000. Boom, dropped it off. These guys never seen 50,000 cash. They're like, you weren't lying. I said, let's go to your warehouse. 20,000 square foot warehouse, chocolate everywhere. They had one section with like 20 pallets of expired chocolate. They can't use it. I said, at 6 p.m., I'm gonna have someone drop off 10 kilos of cocaine. And I said, I'm gonna be here, but I need to do this work. I'm gonna use those expired chocolates and I'm gonna get my hands a little dirty. And they said, no problem, 50,000, you got it. You can do whatever you want. Every day you wanna come here, 50,000 a month, you got it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. So I'm just taking off the saran wrap. I'm pulling these chocolate bars out. We're talking 50 chocolate bars in each box. And we're talking 50 chocolate bars in each box. And I got 100 boxes. It's a pallet, probably 7 feet high. And I'm pulling them all out. And I'm getting down to the bottom. And I'm throwing the kilos in there. And I'm putting the chocolates on top and laying it all the back. And I'm labeling it. Okay, box 13, box 23, box 12. And I know where everything's at. I put it all back. Looks just like it did before. The pallet's nice and clean. And I saran wrap it. I said, all right, gentlemen, I need you guys to have this sent tomorrow. We need it to go to Australia. It's going to come from your chocolate company, and it's United States chocolate coming to Australia. I'm going to get you guys a store to send it to.
So most of the pallet is chocolate?
Most of the pallet's chocolate. So I tell my contact, get me a store, somebody you know, maybe in the liquor store business, maybe in the candy business, whatever it may be. I need an address. They said, all right, mate, we got you. They give me an address. The next day I go to the brothers. I said, all right, here's the address. I said, go ahead and get that off. I need it 6 days. That's like worldwide shipment. I think it's going to be 6 days it's going to take. I said, whatever the cost is, I'm going to cover the cost. Don't worry about that. They ship it. My contacts in Australia said, mate, you wouldn't believe it. The fucking chocolate's here, but there's a problem. I said, fuck, what happened? Customs got it. They're like, mate, there's no cocaine on this pallet. I'm like, oh, bullshit. I just put 10 kilos in there. Don't tell me there's no fucking... Mate, we looked through the whole thing. Pulled my paper out. Box 12, box 13, box 57, box 62. They started pulling it up. They pulled up box 12. They're like, holy shit, mate, you did it. They were the chocolate. I was so good at hiding it that they couldn't even find it. And that was my purpose. I wanted to hide it so well that the fucking customs couldn't find it. If they went through that pallet, all they're going to see is chocolate. They're going to have to go so damn low. And it's like finding a needle in a haystack. So I found my route. And that was the route that I utilized as long as I could until the FBI started investigating me. And I didn't know that the FBI was investigating me, but I knew something was going on because that Robin Hood was harassing me, trying to get me to do things like, hey, let's launder some more money, like talking like that on the phone. You don't talk like that on the phone. And when he said, let's launder some more money, come on, I got you, I got to pay you back that 2.5 I lost for you. He's telling the details on the phone. I'm like thinking to myself, who the fuck are you saying this for, motherfucker? Like I knew something was going on. Like, you don't just talk like that. You tell me that in person.
This is the guy
that just lost my 2.5, Robin.
He wants to do more with you?
He wants to help me get the money back because he feels like he's obligated. At this point...
So you think he had to work with the...
I didn't think, I know, because this is how I got busted. So I said, man, I'm not doing anything with you. Just let it be. When you want to pay $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. I don't care. Just start paying your debt, man. You would throw $1,000 in these shell corporations I had every once in a while. And I would just take it off his figure. I think he paid me like $6,000 total. But I knew something was going on because he was calling all my gambling contacts and he was harassing them. He was calling professional athletes that were my best friends. Hey, your boy O-Dog's going down. The FBI's after him. And they're calling me and telling me this. I'm like, holy shit, what is this guy doing? So I knew something was up. And I had these construction sites. I was building all these homes with my partner. And I remember I would pull up to the construction site and there's like a Verizon vehicle that was just sitting there. And I'm thinking to myself, this Verizon vehicle's been here for like 3 days. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And I would run the license plate and I'd call my private investigator. I said, hey, is this really Verizon? He goes, that's not Verizon. He says, that's a private license plate. He says, it's going back to a P.O. box. He says, that's a cop. He says, that's the feds. He says, you're being watched. And I'm like, oh, fuck. What can I do? I still owe the cartel. I got to pay them off. Their priority. FBI can come later. So I'm just working. I'm selling. And finally, 2 weeks before my arrest, I finally pay off the cartel of $4 million. And I remember El Jefe. He gave me that $1 million question. And he says, Wedo, what do you want to do? You paid me off. I said, what do I want to do? I want to get some money back in my pocket. I'm married to the game now. I feel like I owe you, not only because you let me pay off the debt, you didn't kill me, but I feel like, no, I need to get ahead. And I already knew the FBI was after me. At this point, I was just like, fuck, what do I got to lose? I gotta go out with a bang. I know it's coming. I feel it. I just felt it in my bones. I said, my idea was just try to make as much as I can and get out of Dodge, fucking get out of the country. And the day before I got arrested, I got a call. I was using this money launderer that was referred to me from the Australian contacts. And these money launderers were, for the last 6 months, they were golfing with me. They were drinking with me, or they were taking my girl and I out to dinners and tipping $1,000 and drinking shots of tequila. I was doing blow in front of them. I thought, there's no way the FBI is going to be drinking shots, letting me do blow in front of them. There's no way they're going to tip $1,000, right? Like, who tips $1,000 on an $800 check? The FBI can't do that. But I was wrong, because they can do anything when they got Uncle Sam's money, And I remember that day before I got arrested, this money launderer that was working for me for 6 months now, his name was Al Wilson. He says, hey, we're golfing tomorrow at Aviara Country Club. He says, we got a 7 a.m. tee time, and we'll discuss the next wire. We had a big wire, $250,000 wire that day going out. And he goes, be there at 7. He goes, we'll gamble on some holes again. I'm gambling these guys $1,000 a hole. So I put my $30,000 in cash in my man bag and my 2 encrypted phones and my personal phone. And I jump in my Porsche Panamera and I throw my clubs in the back and I just fucking floor it down that 405, get to the 5, and I'm in the carpool lane just going 100 miles per hour. I knew, Mark, I knew it because that night before, right before I went to bed, El Jefe told me, you're going to be living in a 6x8 cell for the next 20 years. And he says, there's no way in hell you are going to go meet someone that you've been working with that's going to launder money for you and do it for half the cost. Because you got to remember, I was paying 25%. These guys were charging me 12.5%. And he told me, he goes, no way these guys are going to keep laundering money for half the going rate. No one's going to change it and cut it in half. He says, you're out of your mind if you're meeting these guys again. He goes, those are feds. You should not be meeting them. But I knew it had to end. I was so deep into this game. I was snorting coke, popping Vicodin, drinking alcohol. I was working for the most infamous cartel in the world. I just wanted it to end. And I knew, I just had the feeling in my stomach. I pulled over to McDonald's. And I had my last Egg McMuffin for 10 years. I took that bite, I drank that orange juice, and I said to myself, maybe I should just throw the encrypted phone underneath the tire, run over it, go down to Mexico, and just go stay with El Jefe. Like, maybe that's the answer. Then I got a phone call, and it was Al Wilson, this money launderer. He says, hey, man, I'm in the clubhouse. Where you at? I said, man, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And my mind said, let's go play some golf, And I pulled in there, and I remember the caddy came to my car and opened my Porsche Panamera door and said, Mr. Hansen, welcome to Aviara Country Club. I said, hey, caddy, why is there no cars today? It's 7:10 in the morning, and there's not anyone here playing today? He goes, I don't know, Mr. Hansen. And he was shaking. And I knew right when he started shaking that something was wrong. And as soon as I walked over to the passenger seat to pull out my man bag with my gambling money and my encrypted phones, I grabbed the bag, and I turned around, and I had 15 FBI agents come out of the bushes with AK-47s. I had a helicopter above me, and I had Al Wilson in handcuffs. And Al Wilson says, don't tell them anything. They don't got nothing on me. And I knew right there that it was a ruse. I knew that right then and there that this motherfucker had brought me down. And there was the most relieving day of my life. People would say, were you scared? You're going to federal prison for the rest of your life? Were you scared the cartel knows you got arrested? I said, fuck no, I wasn't scared. I was fucking happy. It's finally over. And that's how this story ended.